Welcome. You are listening to the vent session on the Sister Speak show, and I am your host, Sister Speak. How you living, how you breathing, how you vibing. What's going on with you? Are you in warrior mode? You better be. I want to thank all of you all for tuning in to this episode. It is going to be lit, to say the least, brothers and sisters. First and foremost, you are listening to the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana, but you better call me Sister Speak. Brothers and sisters, I am so excited about being able to be on the microphone with you all. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. We are at 22,000 downloads. Reached that on 2/22/2023. I thank you all so much. You all are an amazing listening audience. I thank my international listening audience as well as my national listening audience, all the way from Cambodia to Harker Heights, Texas, and all in between. I see you all listening. I thank you for the downloads. To my first-time listeners, this is the Speak Show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. That's the first and last warning. You'll find out why I had to put that in the beginning. And any type of news clips that are played are under the Fair Use Act, just to promote education and awareness, to provide a curriculum for the listening audience to be able to extract from and possibly be able to teach those around them these wonderful gems and nuggets that are provided on this podcast. You will need scuba gear as well as water. Water because why not? That's how you function. That's how you live. That is a vital element in your journey, in your spiritual journey, as well as your physical journey. And scuba gear, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because we dive to different leagues of the sea, deep leagues of the sea, and we don't want you to get lost. We want you to have the right gear on in our conversations, because we have some serious conversations and we just don't want you to get lost, period. Now, I sound a little stuffy. It's because I am. This happened because of the weather change. We went from 88 degrees, 83 degrees to 47. My nose is like, look, this is what it is. So there might be some pauses because I'm blowing my nose. And I know you all don't want to hear all that. And I don't want you to hear all that. Real talk. Tonight's episode on the vent session, where we get it out because it should not stay in. Something isn't right. The boyfriend and girlfriend murders when toxic relationships turn deadly. On this episode. Why? Because why not? This is something that is out of control, and it is causing an impact on many age groups, not just one specific. This specific toxic energy that we're speaking about tonight on the vent session affects many age groups. There is a lack of, I would like to say, a coping mechanism and a lack of communication skills and childhood trauma, unhealed childhood trauma, and poor role models in the familial unit that have modeled before some people, and it creates an environment that is only conducive for toxic behavior. There's no other type of stable behavior that can come from these people because that's all they have ever known. Most of them. And then some are just, it's just, you didn't grow up in that at all, and you just are out here just wicked. We don't want to just say, oh, it only takes one ingredient to make this cake. That would be a lie. There are several ingredients that make this cake called toxic behavior. And the outcome being death as a result of two people coming together and sparring with one another, whether it be verbally, whether it be physically, and whether they know it or not, sparring with each other spiritually. And in that, blow for blow, jab for jab, penetrating the inner wounds, leaving nothing but air and opportunity for tragedy to strike. And the only time it appears that they can even get right with each other, and just walk with me on this, is when they're in the bed. And even that's toxic. So this whole concept of, the boyfriend and girlfriend murders was inspired by, and you would hate to even have to be inspired by that, but just from these news clips that I keep running into, that I keep seeing in my research, I don't know, what really, excuse me, what really prompted me to go ahead and put this episode out and produce it was watching like Blueface and Krishan Rock. And I watched an interview on No Jumper, and Sharp was interviewing them, and I can't remember the other sister's name. Forgive me, no disrespect. I just can't remember her name off the rip. But it was, I couldn't believe it. At first I was like, is this really real? Is this really happening? Because I grew up in a time where there's like a level of discretion, where it's like, if we have some type of disagreement, it's just kind of like an understood agreement in our disagreement, that when we walk outside the house, everybody is not supposed to know that we're beefing. We're not supposed to let people on to the fact that we are funking with each other, that shit ain't cool right now. We just trying to save face. When we want to keep what's in the house. But when we walk outside of the house, we going to put on that mask, because the people don't need to be in our business. And nowadays, it appears that with the availability of cameras and the accessibility of footage, it just really just seems like nowadays anything goes when it comes to a disagreement, and the environment is not the respect. There's no respect of environment. There's no respect of who's around. We into it, and we into it right now. Like, it's lit, it's live, and it's toxic. And so when I was watching, Krishan Rock, intoxicated, young, the fame, the fact that she's with, I think she still really can't believe she's with this nigga, Blueface, for whatever it is. And whatever it is about her, he's hooked too. It's toxic. But I just watched that interview, and it just irritated me. It vexed my soul. A lot of things about that interview vexed my soul, but it just made me think, like, this is the type of situation where if there is not a form of a split, okay, that these black eyes and these cuts and these scrapes and these bruises and these, and other type of things, it can get to the point to where a toe tag could come up. And you don't want that to happen, but where is the pause button? You feel me? So anyway, something isn't right. And that's why I wanted to just talk about this. And I was going through my research and I was looking at these clips and I'm like, wait a minute, what the? This is bad. And it makes you say, like, I'm not trying to be out here cuddling with a demon. I'm not trying to cuddle with someone who is going to ultimately take me out of here. Someone who is ultimately, who has ulterior motives, and I'm thinking it's one thing, but it's something else, and it's coming soon to something else. And that something else is what I'm saying before, that something isn't right. You know, you don't want to be so lonely or feel like you're so lonely that you get into a situation and it be the last situation you get into. And in your journey, you want to meet good people. You want to meet cool people. You want to be in relationships in peaceful relationships. That's what you should want. But that's not what everybody wants. Because there are literally some people who want that crazy type of love. And I put love in quotations. They want that dangerous, on the edge, hanging on a cliff by their pinky finger type of love. They want that 15 felony type of love. They want that manslaughter type of love. They want that probation type of love. They want that, that discord. I was trying to think of, there's so many words, but I wanted to just discord. They want that dysfunction. They want that destruction. They want that devastation. Good news? No, bad news. They want to run up. They want to pop off. They want to slap the shit out of you. They want to spit in your face. They want to bleach your clothes. They want to key your car, flatten your tires, throw a brick through your window. They want to pop up here, pop up there. They want to beat anybody that may look like they your female or they're your dude. They want to be able to, it doesn't matter. This is a hurricane / tsunami / earthquake / volcanic eruption type of relationship. And they want it. That whole, well, it's the crazy ones that's got the good sex. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, so you're having sex with 5150? Because that's what I'm going to call your boo. Your boo's name is 5150. Nutcase. Nut job. Oh, so you're having sex with something isn't right? Oh, so you're having sex with, he seems to be a little off. I mean, come on. Like, there are people literally who want crazy type of love. What are the influences of that? We'll get into it. But brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. You, in fact, are listening to the Sister Speak show. I am your host, Sister Speak. And I'm in the building and I'm healing. You thought I was going to say I'm feeling myself. I am. You should be too. Anyway, brothers and sisters, let's go ahead and take these commercial breaks. Then we're going to get into the news clips. And then we're going to get it out. Because I know that you can relate to toxic relationships. Whether you've been in one or you've been around one. You can relate. And hopefully you are putting yourself in a position to graduate from being attracted to that crazy type of love. That you are putting yourself in a position where you are saying, I desire something different. I desire to go inward before I start trying to be outside. I desire to remove any layers of toxins inside of me that make me end up attracting toxic behavior and toxic people, because that is not your portion. That is warfare. Those are attacks. Those are generational curses. Those are hexes, and those are the things that the enemy would love to see take you out, keep you off of your predestined path, to delay you, to make you so worn out that you don't even want love anymore, that you don't even want to be bothered, that you're not interested at all. There's no way, shape, or form that you're going to ever get into a relationship again, because you're drained, you're depleted, you're defeated, you are destroyed. Because let's just be real. What are toxins and what is toxicity? Anything that is toxic is biohazardous. And you have to wear a special type of gear, uniform, whenever you are around anything toxic. So let's walk with that in the spirit and say, you got to have on the whole armor of God at all times. And you see why. I don't want anything toxic to linger in your life, whether it be inside of you or outside of you. We'll be right back, brothers and sisters, after these commercial breaks. You are a wonderful listening audience, and I enjoy conversing with you. Thank you for adding us to your podcast shuffle, and thank you for allowing the Sister Speak show to be a part of the flavor in your ear. You are listening to the vent session on the Sister Speak show. On the vent session, you have to get it out because it should not stay in. We're going to equip you with strategies to combat the wiles of the devil. This is spiritual warfare that you are encountering, and no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. You shouldn't walk around here feeling defeated, because you are victorious. You're more than a conqueror, and we're going to encourage you on the vent session, and we are going to provide a safe space for you to get it out. Because why? It should never stay in. Thank you for adding us to your podcast shuffle, and thank you for letting us be the flavor in your ear on the Sister Speak show. A mother's love is always needed and appreciated when it is given in the right way. But there are some mothers who love their sons in the wrong way, crossing boundaries and not respecting the role that she has as a mother, creating scenes and scenarios and demanding time from her son, no matter who the woman is in his life. She will assert and insert herself into situations that are not her business, causing her son to grow up no good for any other woman. Is that the plan? Your son is not your husband. Available on demand now on the Vent Session on the Sister Speak show. You are listening to the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Vision, sound, action, create, inspire, impact, evolve. You are now activated. That's right, brothers and sisters. You are now activated. Oh boy, let's get into this episode on the Vent Session. It's serious. It's a topic that is, shared throughout many different platforms. And it is a conversation that has to continue to be in the forefront because of the fact that, as you see on the cover flyer for this episode, death, murders. When two people who were texting each other back and forth, flirting with each other, going out, kicking it, vibing, end up taking each other out. Unrecognizable in the relationship. Hateful, toxic. It's just a conversation that's going to have to continue to, like I said, be in the forefront, because our brothers and sisters need a lot of relationship help. Not advice. Help. Now, I know some of y'all be like, well, advice is help. No, we need help. The brigade, the Coast Guard, the fire truck, the ambulance, and the police. All of it. Anyway, brothers and sisters, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get into these clips for tonight's episode. Something Isn't Right. The boyfriend and girlfriend murders. When toxic relationships turn deadly. We will listen to these clips. We will learn from these clips. We must really listen. I want you to pay attention to what you hear. And I want you to not shun what you hear. I want you to apply it where it needs to be applied. I don't want you ever to co-sign on any situation if it mirrors what we're about to hear tonight. Like, I listen to the clips, and of course I watch the clips. You know, I have to pre-screen everything to make sure it's suitable and it's cringy. And then it makes me think about myself and choices that I have made and what made me make those choices, and how I'm grateful not to be in the choices that I made when I was full of folly and full of trauma and full of, you know, my own roadblocks. I don't completely blame myself, but I have been in situations that were toxic and could have turned deadly. And I'm glad that they didn't. But for those who aren't able to, you know, reflect, we have to just pause for a moment and say, well, what can we learn from their situation? Because a lot of people are really enamored and in love with crazy shit and like to see bullshit between people. They love to hear the drama. They want to know the scoop, the tea. And it's just like, yo, there's another side to this. And it has to do with toe tags and coroners and the morgue and the funeral and the devastation that all parties involved have to go through. We're supposed to be able to get along. We're supposed to be able to have harmonious relationships. We're supposed to want peace in our relationships. We should want to resolve anything. We will want to put out any type of fire before it just spreads to the point to where you have to evacuate. All right, brothers and sisters, I'll see you on the other side of these clips. I thank you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. You are wise, you are healing, you are warriors, and we are definitely going to vibe after this. Thank you so much for paying attention. I'll see you after these clips. I want to say yay, yay, but it's just... I'm trying to keep this so, like, I'm just trying to keep the vibe going, keep everything flowing. It's just like, why do I want to say yay, yay? It's just, come on. All right, brothers and sisters, let's do this.
Two found dead in the Bronx. Police have arrested her boyfriend and charged him with murder. 37-year-old Majana Bahona James was found dead early Saturday morning by one of her siblings inside an apartment on East 147th Street in Mott Haven. Police say her throat had been slashed and she had been stabbed in the chest. Now, 35-year-old Nishan Walsh, who lived in the apartment with James, is under arrest. James is survived by an 8-year-old daughter and 12-year-old son.
The family of a 16-year-old shot and killed in a Southwest Houston park is one step closer to justice. Diamond Alvarez was walking her dog when she was shot 22 times. Investigators accuse her ex-boyfriend, 17-year-old Frank De Leon, of shooting Diamond. Alvarez's mother tells KPRC2 that he was the first and only person she suspected of murdering her daughter. And she spoke with KPRC2's Sophia Ojeda, who is live in the newsroom this evening. And Sophia, I can only imagine how devastating and emotional this is for Diamond's family. What else did Diamond's mother tell you?
That's right, Daniela. Super emotional and devastating. Diamond's mother says that she is thankful De Leon is now behind bars, but she wants to make sure that he stays there, and she won't stop working to get justice for her daughter. 17-year-old Frank De Leon is behind bars tonight, charged with murder in the shooting death of 16-year-old Diamond Alvarez. Police say he shot her 22 times last Tuesday while she was out walking her dog near her home in Southwest Houston. Diamond's mother came out to her daughter's memorial today and remembered the moment she found her.
When I was here with my daughter alone and kissing her, I heard a voice. I heard her voice telling me the name, like repeated the name and the name and the name. And when they asked me, I just blurted out the name. I screamed and I said, it's him. He was just angry at my daughter. It wasn't love. It wasn't a breakup. He was angry at my daughter.
Investigators say De Leon was in a relationship with Diamond and another young woman. When Diamond found out, she and De Leon met at the field on Park Manor Street. And that's when investigators say De Leon shot her 22 times and took off running.
I want the death penalty. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want him in there. I want him to rot in jail.
Diamond's mother says she misses her daughter so much and she won't stop working to get justice and hopes anyone with more information will come forward.
I loved everything about my daughter. Like I said, I don't regret it. That I'm in peace because I gave him all the kisses. I gave her all the kisses, all the hugs, and I have to be strong. I am not, I can't break right now. I can't. This is not over.
De Leon's bond was set at $250,000. Police are asking anyone with any more information in this case to call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. Live in the newsroom, Sophia Ojeda, KPRC 2 News.
Now to the Houston area. We're going to be joined by Fox 26 Houston reporter Matthew Seedorf with the latest on, Matthew, what is really just a stunning and crazy story, frankly. I mean, these two 16-year-olds, they escaped from a home and they were handcuffed. But before all that, there was this huge Amber Alert there in Harris County. What more do we know?
Yeah, Andrew, this is really just a disturbing and bizarre case, frankly. Late last night, we're hearing from police that two teenage kids came running out of this house behind me and looking for help, eventually finding a neighbor who called police. And then they said that they had been handcuffed inside the house, eventually leading to today's Amber Alert. Two teens hospitalized in the Houston area with apparent bruises and malnourished after escaping a home allegedly handcuffed. Late Monday, 16-year-old twins ran out of the Cypress home off Marina Alto Lane, found someone nearby for help, and called police telling them they had been handcuffed inside. When authorities got to the home, their mother, 40-year-old Zakiah Duncan, and her boyfriend, 27-year-old Joe Terrell, were gone, along with the twins' 5 siblings, all boys 7, 10, 12, and 14 years old, leading to an Amber Alert throughout the area.
The family moved in about a week ago. They had kids. My brothers went to school with one of them. Everything seemed normal. We didn't really suspect anything at all.
Christian Hurd recording this cell phone video Tuesday morning as police surround his neighbor's home.
It's definitely scary. Me having a child myself, it makes me just want to hang on to him. I just hope that they're okay.
Louisiana State Police finding the Mitsubishi Outlander near Baton Rouge Tuesday evening. 1 kid safe inside, 4 others okay, discovered at a relative's house. The boy's mother and her boyfriend both arrested, charged with injuring a child, a felony. So, Andrew, that couple is being extradited back to Houston and Harris County. I'm told the twins are in CPS custody tonight. Back to you.
Matthew, a couple questions though. Okay, so this was really a two-state. Would you characterize it as a police pursuit as they were looking for this vehicle? They were telling residents to be on the lookout because 5 children were implicated in that Amber Alert, and then it was rescinded once authorities got word about these 2 16-year-olds. Where are the other children tonight?
Yeah, so they actually found those other kids in the relative's home, I believe in Louisiana, and they are okay. And we are checking the records on the kid's mother as well as the boyfriend to see kind of what their history is and if they've had any issues in the past with law enforcement or with these children.
And is it too early, Matthew, to say, since these 2 16-year-olds were handcuffed, do authorities or investigators think that they may have, suffered abuse, neglect, malcontent? What do you think about that? Do we know anything about that?
Well, yeah, authorities are being pretty tight-lipped with that sort of information, as I know the investigation's still unfolding. But we do know that those the twins, the 2 16-year-olds, are hospitalized with injuries. They said bruising and malnourished. So definitely some questions there, and we don't know the status of those other kids that are said to be okay that were found with a relative.
Wow. What really just an insane story. Matthew Seedorf there with Fox 26 in Houston. We'll definitely be in touch if there are any more developments. Thanks.
Is behind bars after police say she beat and shot at her boyfriend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm April Thompson. WRAG's Kwamitra Wilburn breaks down what led to that attack in Raleigh.
It was a quiet morning on Ridgemont Avenue in Raleigh. However, neighbors we spoke to who didn't want to go on camera say that peace was disturbed by multiple gunshots over the weekend. Memphis police say 21-year-old Anaya Buford is responsible, and she's now behind bars.
That's what she need to be.
Court documents say Buford's boyfriend was sitting in her car after she picked him up from work when he asked her to take him somewhere else. According to the victim, she told him no, and he took her key fob out of her center console. Memphis police say this reportedly upset Buford, and she started punching her boyfriend in the face. Police say when he got out of the car, she attacked him again and ran his face into the car, busting his lip. MPD says her boyfriend refused to fight back, and he tried to walk inside his house. From there, things allegedly escalated. Police say Buford called her father and said, quote, "I'm going to kill this B word." Shortly after, MPD says Buford fired several shots at her boyfriend, leaving multiple bullet holes in his home. Her boyfriend was not hit. According to court documents, Buford told police that she believed her boyfriend was going to go get a gun, and that's why she fired shots at him. However, she also told police that he's never pointed a gun at her in the past, and he was unarmed that night.
I think she's a little on the touch side, and they need to take her over to one of them from the hospital.
Court documents say Buford was arrested and admitted to telling her father she was going to kill her boyfriend. She also told police when she refused to take her boyfriend to another location, he was the one that assaulted her. However, her boyfriend has not been charged. Buford is charged with second-degree attempted murder. Reporting in Raleigh, Kwamitra Wilburn, WRAG News Channel 3.
A $100,000 bond. Her first court appearance is tomorrow morning.
Missing South Florida mother. They say he confessed to kidnapping and killing her. He is now behind bars, charged with first-degree murder.
This as police discover human remains. 7's Elitza Bezios is live outside Miami-Dade Police headquarters with the latest. Elitza.
You know, Vanessa and Ethan, just absolutely heartbreaking for this family, for the community. And like you said, it overnight, the boyfriend of this missing mother confessing to kidnapping her, then to killing her, all of this while we await for the medical examiner to ID the remains that were found yesterday. Xavier Johnson arrested overnight, charged with first-degree murder after police say he confessed to kidnapping and killing Andrea Lloyd. Miami-Dade detectives have been searching for the 27-year-old mother since early Tuesday morning. Cops say Johnson showed up at her job at this group home in southwest Miami-Dade, where she worked as a caretaker, beat her up, and forced her into her own car. Andrea's family suspecting Johnson, who's her boyfriend, had something to do with it.
One of my family members followed him from home.
Yesterday, detectives swarming the woods of Southwest 328th Street in Homestead after her family tracked Johnson down in a black truck and called 911.
For whatever lucky reason there was, and I can say it must have been the gift of God, we all got there. Held him there until the police got there.
Detectives searching the area and confirming they found human remains. Officers detained, questioned, then arrested Johnson. Authorities removed the black truck Wednesday night. It has been a long, painful, and emotional few days for Andrea's family.
We got to step back, lean back, and hope and pray that God hear us through this, see us through this, and allow us to go through.
And once again, we are awaiting for the remains to be identified by the medical examiner's office. Obviously, once that happens, first the family will be notified, then media will be notified. We are hoping to have an update on that at some point this morning or later today. When it comes to Johnson, the boyfriend who confessed to doing all of this, he will not have a chance to get out of jail at this point. He remains behind bars without bond. For now, we are live in front of Miami-Dade Police Headquarters. Elitza Bezios, today in Florida.
A mother and her boyfriend are charged in her daughter's death. 2-year-old Malia Bass's body was found in August.
And Channel 2's Vincent Crivelli is following up now outside the Harris County Jail this morning.
One good morning. The couple claims that the girl went missing, but overnight we learned that detectives didn't buy their story.
This morning, Sahara Irvin and her boyfriend Travian Thompson are in cuffs, charged in the death of Malia Bass. But back in August, this is how they reacted after telling Channel 2 the 2-year-old was missing, possibly kidnapped.
They should have took me. They should have took me.
On August 22nd, they told police Irvin left her daughter alone for 5 minutes at a playground. Then they couldn't find her.
I just can't believe she gone. It's my best friend. I'm so sorry, Lena. They should have took me. They should have took me.
This take a little mistake. In a blink of an eye, my baby was gone. And I feel like it's my fault because I wasn't watching her at that park. I was sitting there playing the game.
However, authorities tell a very different story and charge the couple with serious bodily injury to a child and tampering with evidence, a human corpse.
The defendant and her boyfriend, the co-defendant, injured and killed the 2-year-old complainant. After the complainant's death, the defendant and the co-defendant put her body in a sewer drain where it floated into the bayou and was discovered by a citizen.
We also spoke to Malia's grandmother, who said she wanted everyone to know that while she is devastated, she is thankful. In her words, there will be justice for her sweet baby granddaughter.
And Thompson's bond was set at $150,000. He's due in court this morning. And Irvin's bond was set at $175,000. She's due in court tomorrow morning. Reporting live from the Harris County Jail, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, Vince.
As multiple law enforcement agencies swarmed the Budget Inn hotel, a family looked on in desperation.
Mimi. Mimi. Mimi, I know that could be right here, Mimi.
Here, mourning the loss of Jakia Hampton after police say she was shot to death along Scottwood Street early Saturday morning in West Memphis. Hours after her murder, investigators zeroed in on her boyfriend Elijah Singleton as the suspect, who was spotted at the hotel and barricaded himself in one of the rooms.
It was real scary.
This man was one of the many guests who had to evacuate his room as the standoff ensued.
Told everybody to come out their room, and they went back there looking for him. And we know they bring them machine gun and camera. I told girl, I said, girl, they finna blow this place up.
After nearly an hour, Singleton surrendered, bringing a sense of relief to Hampton's family, but also a feeling of disappointment since they say he's responsible for her death. Prior to the shooting, the two had reportedly been together for almost a year. Family says they were in the process of separating.
She just wanted to get away.
A love story ending in tragedy as reality sets in.
We grew up together. It was always us.
Reporting in West Memphis, Jordan James, WREG, News Channel 3.
Joe, I'm here in front of the 19th Precinct Station House here on the Upper East Side, where any minute we're expecting to see the suspect here being taken by detectives to central booking to begin his journey through the legal system. For now, we could show you a picture of 22-year-old Isaac Argro. This is a past booking photo. He is charged tonight with murder and criminal possession of a weapon. Police say he shot the mother of his son, his 3-month-old son, at point-blank range as she pushed the baby in a stroller on Wednesday night. This happened at a park in front of a playground at 95th and Lex. The estranged couple, according to text messages, according to her family, had been talking about reuniting so at least he could be a presence in the child's life. But police say when she arrived at the park, he walked up to her, put a gun to her head, and pulled the trigger. Sources tell Eyewitness News that they do have evidence that links him to the scene, including but not limited to video from both before and after the crime that places him at the scene. They picked him up today in Brooklyn. He immediately asked for an attorney, but police do believe they have enough evidence to charge him with murder and criminal possession of a weapon in connection with this violent and horrifying crime on 95th and Lex the other night. In the last hour, the police commissioner, Keechan Sewell, was the one who announced this news on Twitter, and she said, quote, NYPD detectives continue to be relentless in their pursuit of justice. We are awaiting Mr. Argro's departure from the 19th precinct here toward court, and when we have that, of course, within this newscast, if it happens, we will have it for you. For now, we are live on the Upper East Side tonight. Josh Oniger, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
All right. Had her whole life ahead of her, but a single bullet has devastated her family. She was shot in the face in her Pontiac home.
7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig has more on a family's pain and the conflicting stories about what happened when the trigger was pulled on a gun bought on the street.
Michaela Lance, just 17 years old, and when she was rushed out of her aunt's house here in Pontiac, she was fighting for her life after being shot in the face.
She had her whole life ahead of her. She just graduated a whole year early. Our whole family was so proud of her. She got her whole life ahead of her, and it's just gone now, and we just don't believe it.
Michaela's 18-year-old boyfriend was arrested, and Oakland County Sheriff investigators say he's claiming it was an accident and he had been playing with the gun. But after the shooting, we're told he tried to hide the .38 caliber revolver in a garbage can in the backyard, a gun sources say he bought on the street for $150.
It's definitely easy to buy guns out here.
Started saying he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know what happened. He just got here. But that wasn't the truth.
Young, smart, you know what I'm saying, in school still, you know, so just absolutely too young to be going through this, you know what I'm saying?
Michaela's family and friends now grieving her loss and wanting answers.
I don't believe that it was just an accident. Some kind of manslaughter or something, some kind of charges has to be brought, because it may have been a mistake, the gun going off, but it wasn't a mistake, the gun being at her head. That's no mistake. You don't play like that.
In Pontiac, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
Michaela's boyfriend remains in custody tonight, and investigators expect to present the case to the prosecutor's office tomorrow.
New at 6, the arrest of...
Just in tonight, police have made an arrest in the murder of a Clayton County woman who was found dead in her carport.
Investigators took her boyfriend into custody. Fox Eye's Brian Hill spoke to the 42-year-old victim's family about their loss and today's arrest.
While glad that Clayton County Police have arrested Mally McFadden, Tasha Patterson's mother and uncle tell me nothing will ever fully heal their broken hearts or make this situation right. According to the incident report for this case, a neighbor called 911 Friday morning after seeing the 41-year-old's body in her carport.
She could have done her own stand-up comedy show. She had a big heart and she loved
very hard.
Tasha Patterson's family describes her as vivacious, full of life, and a comedian. Her uncle could have never imagined the disturbing phone call he got Friday morning.
You just don't really know where to begin. It's just heartbreaking even talking about it.
Inside this carport at Patterson's home, Clayton County Police found the 41-year-old shot to death around 8 that morning. Her house is located in Riverdale on Mockingbird Trail near Ovis Lane. 4 days later, detectives arrested Mally McFadden for her murder. This is video of detectives transporting him to the county jail.
They had a very volatile relationship to start with. There have been several incidences of violence on both parties.
Loved ones say McFadden was Patterson's boyfriend of 2 years.
That's the only thing that eases my pain and everything and my grief, that knowing that he's in jail.
The police narrative mentions disturbing details, saying that Patterson was shot in the head and dragged to her carport. She was also killed the night before.
There's nothing that anybody can do until that person wants to do something. And there's not a person I think that I know that didn't, try to get them to go their separate ways. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw the toxicity in it.
Yep.
Loved ones say the couple had only lived in this house together for about 7 months. Police tell us McFadden is charged with malice murder, tampering with evidence, and aggravated assault. No word right now on when he'll face a judge on those charges. Outside Clayton County Police Headquarters, Brian Hill, Fox 5 News.
Tonight, this woman right here behind bars tonight, and police believe that Star Tribble is her name, and she killed her boyfriend and then left him in the home they shared together. ABC Action News reporter Ryan Raish is live now with why she's not charged with his murder just yet. Ryan?
Yeah, Wendy, right now, that woman is locked up on charges of lying to police and accessory. But I'll tell you what, if she did not kill her longtime boyfriend, she certainly didn't do herself any favors.
She's involved in murder.
Sheriff Grady Judd telling reporters today all they have to do in the death investigation of Tamario Clark is connect the dots. And right now, they believe those dots will lead them directly to his longtime girlfriend, Star Tribble.
What Star failed to recognize is our homicide team hasn't had an unsolved homicide in over 7 years. She's testing us, but it's not a very hard test.
Clark was found dead with a gunshot wound to the head at the Winter Haven home he shares with Tribble and the 3 kids. Investigators believe someone killed him Thursday night. They say Tribble intentionally avoided the home with the kids all weekend. Sunday night, Tribble even brought her brother by the house to show him the lifeless body in the bedroom and then asked for help moving the body.
When the brother asked, why didn't you call the ambulance or the police, he said they would ask too many questions.
Judd says the brother wanted nothing to do with it, and apparently Tribble didn't either. When the 19-year-old returned home Monday with her 7- and 10-year-old siblings, they made the grim discovery.
You know what really makes me so mad I can chew the bark off of trees? Star allowed that 19-year-old girl to come in and find who she calls her daddy dead.
Neighbors tell ABC Action News Tribble and Clark stayed mostly to themselves, but they have heard them argue. As far as gunshots, even their next-door neighbor tells me they never heard a thing. With a little time to analyze the evidence, Judd says his team will have this case wrapped up.
This is an underhanded slow pitch.
Both the suspect and victim in this case have criminal histories, but they are mostly minor offenses. By the way, the brother who saw the body, we are told he is cooperating and will not face any charges. Live in Winter Haven tonight, Ryan Raish, ABC Action News.
Police search a car and make a gruesome discovery in the trunk, the body of a missing 19-year-old girl. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Sirota.
And I'm Sion Rhodes, in for Sarah Donchi. This is the man who police have in custody right now. His name is Troy Parker. Officers say he was the victim's boyfriend. Channel 2's Kathy Hernandez has been following the details in this case. She is live now with the very latest. Kathy?
And good morning. Police say Troy Parker confessed to killing the victim here at his home in Missouri City. Then they say that he stuffed the body inside a trunk and drove less than 3 miles away. They also say family members used the Find My Friend app to find her body.
Like, wow. I couldn't believe he was that type of dude. I didn't know he'd do stuff like that.
Thought he had something for himself in his life.
A shock to people who know Troy Parker, the 20-year-old now charged with murder. Police say the family of his girlfriend, Sabrina Herrera, reported her missing yesterday.
They had used an app on the iPhone to locate her vehicle. It was very unlike her not to check in or to be missing for this period of time. They located her vehicle. They called the police department.
According to investigators, when police arrived to block Ben Oak and Ken Forrest, they found her dead in the trunk of a car. Investigators learned her boyfriend, Parker, was the last to see her. They say officers found him at his home on Quail Run Court, and he confessed to killing Herrera at his home, stuffing her in the trunk and abandoning the car.
He was just really matter of fact in what had occurred. He did show some remorse.
Neighbors say he lived here with his twin brother and their adoptive mother and was a star football player in high school. They thought he had a bright future.
He came over, shot some basketball a couple times. We talked about sports and work, and I just thought he was a good kid. I didn't know he was that type of kid.
Police are not yet saying how the victim died until the medical examiner performs an autopsy. Parker right now is being held in the Fort Bend County Jail without bond. Reporting live in Missouri City, Kathy Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Did you know that the Sister Speak Show has 8 segments dedicated to being the flavor in your ear? You might as well go ahead and add us to your podcast shuffle now so you can enjoy the tour, the laugh line, the culture climate, the suspense files, the hair appointment, the headshot, the vent session, and the upgrade. Dedicated to encouraging you, educating you, and empowering you on your journey. You will not be disappointed with all of the commentary, the humor, and the insight. Get ready to be abundant in wisdom and in strategy. No spiritual warfare is going to take you out. Go ahead and add us to your podcast shuffle. As I just mentioned, you won't be disappointed. Thank you for listening to the Sister Speak Show. Your vacation is on the way. You're going with your girls, your guys, your man, your woman, and you're not expecting to have any chaos, calamity, disturbance, or turbulence. You're ready to relax, rest, and rejuvenate. But sometimes plans don't go as we want them to. This is the cautionary tale of when mean girls travel the world and Dominican Republic vacation nightmares. Rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas on the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. You are currently listening to Something Isn't Right, the boyfriend and girlfriend murders when toxic relationships turn deadly on the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. Welcome back. I am your host, Sister Speak, and you are, in fact, listening to the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show. Brothers and sisters, I guess, when you hear those clips, I'm sure you were shaking your head. I'm sure you were probably like, wow. Tragedy. Each clip that you heard was tragic. And I wanted to focus on both male and female because accountability is accountability. And this is not a show where we bash one or we bash the other. We bash the enemy. We bash the weapons that the enemy tries to throw our way. We bash the pollution. We bash the witchcraft, the voodoo, the spell work. We bash the devil and his self and the destruction that he climaxes off of. We are very much focused on providing strategies for your warfare. And when it comes to relationships, you and I are expecting peace, stability, honesty, more than sufficient communication, comprehension skills, understanding, and all of those wonderful actions and thought processes, because nobody wants to be in bed in a relationship with their enemy or an assassinator. Listening to every single clip, I think about the first clip. And when you are young, you don't have everything together in your mind. You don't have enough experiences to kind of, be where you and I, where we are right now in our life for most of us, or getting to that point where we think about what the outcome could be. We're not so quick to just jump into anything because we've learned that if you touch fire, you will get burned. And because we have been close to the heat, close to the flames, we think thrice before we deal with anything that is caustic, anything that is going to be flammable and cause destruction. And when you're young, your hormones are all over the place. And I take into factor that when you're young, depending on the environment that you're raised in, there's no telling what that level of tolerance is for that individual or those individuals when it comes to the toxicity, when it comes to the bad behaviors, when it comes to the obsession and the boundaries being crossed, the name calling, the control, everything that comes along with this thing of there's somebody paying me attention. This person is paying me attention. And that's why there's this tug of war that sometimes happens between the parent, the child, and that relationship. And just to stay on topic, with a side note, that's why it's so important to show your children love, pay attention to your children, nurture your children, validate your children, instill good characteristics, good traits, instill the scriptures, instill the fact that the Most High God is who He is and His Son, Yahushai, whom the world calls Jesus the Christ. Being able to implement things into your child from the time that they're born, your environment, the cleanliness of it, the cleanliness of, your mind, and just really retrofitting, if you will, your lifestyle, your home, and just creating an environment that's healthy for your child and for yourself. It's really going into warrior mode where you're really cautious of the company that you keep, of what's being played on the TV, what's being played on the radio, what you say, what your company says, all of that. Your child is soaking it all up, and that is the breeding ground for whether or not that child is going to be able to grow and know and be able to make prudent decisions that will save them from going down the wrong path. When it comes to a relationship, what do you model before your children when it comes to your relationships? And what do they see? What do they hear? And are you rectifying anything that has gotten loose in your home because of what you display? Because that is a factor. It is not all of the factor, but it is a main ingredient in this particular cake of teenage love. Because teenage love in a low vibration is extremely dangerous. And what they think is love, because we've all been there where we thought we loved somebody, and in our hindsight and in our, growing up, we're like, that was not love. I would never in my life choose that type of energy for myself. I can't believe that that's where I was at the time. That I would allow myself to be, to con myself, scam myself into believing that this is the person who I want to spend the rest of my life with. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. You guys just don't understand. He's the best thing. And it's just like, that's not the case all the time. And with, excuse me, with the first clip, that young girl was shot 22 times, a crime of passion. And most of the time, it's either a stabbing, they either stab you, obviously violent. I mean, anytime you're stabbed, it's violent, but multiple times, or it's multiple gunshots. And these two individuals, at one point in time, did not know each other. And so here it is that they have come into each other's lives, and you just don't know. You have no idea when you are young and you are without enough experience and enough wisdom that this is no good for me. That I shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. This guy isn't good. This girl isn't good. What's a red flag to a teenager? And I'm not saying teenagers are dumb, because they're not. I'm not saying they're dumb. But I will say that there is a strong level of blindness and deafness, and a level of shunning authority, shunning wisdom. You can't tell me what to do. Social media is their parent a lot of the time. Social media is their friend, their everything. This is what they are relying on to navigate and guide them through. So I'm not going to say that they don't come across the word toxic, that they don't come across the term toxic behavior. But I'm also saying they also come across many posts and influences that say it's okay to be toxic. It's okay to be crazy in love. It's okay to be loco en la cabeza. It's okay to be that way. It's okay to cross boundaries and be without any type of, thinking that there's going to be any ramifications for your behavior. It's the middle finger generation. I've never in my life seen so many people take pictures where you stick up your middle finger. What the fuck is that about? Pardon the pun. But what is that about? It's this toxic culture that is accepted, that goes viral. And because social media is like where it's at for these young people, I mean, what are the odds and what are the evens that they're not going to be in toxic relationships, that they're not going to have the desire to hear what is right, when what is wrong is always promoted as being right. Wrong is always promoted as being right in this world, in this society, because of what's in it and who's in it and who's running it. So when you are in a situation as a teenager and you break up, and it's not a healthy breakup, I mean, you know, the odds and the evens, they're not there. See, the balances is what I'm saying. There's no balance. There's just imbalance, dysfunction, and it's going to result in something violent happening, something deadly happening, because something isn't right, especially when, as a teenager, you're having to deal with somebody stalking you. Your boyfriend has now become your stalker, has become physically abusive with you. Your entire behavior has changed. And once again, it's a battle in the home between the parents and the teenagers. You know, there's this battle for power, and there are spirits in the home that are creating a cesspool of negative energies, toxic energies, toxins that are going to take everybody out in the home out in some way, shape, or form. 22 times she was shot. Not once, but 22 times. You and I cannot imagine. He wanted her out of here, and he took her out of here. If I can't have you, nobody can. I hate you so much now. I'm so toxic that I'm going to kill you. And I don't give a fuck about my life. You and I have to be careful about stepping into this dating scene and wanting to be so cuddled up and booed up with somebody that we ignore the red flags, the purple flags, the green, all of it. We ignore all of these signs, warning signs. You know, discernment is a blessing, wisdom is a blessing, and prayer is a blessing. And if you are not covered, you will be exposed. And you are vulnerable when you are not healed. And when you have toxic behavior or toxins inside of you, what do you think you will attract? You don't mean to attract it. I know you don't, because like I said before, we can all say there's no way, shape, or form I would have ever dealt with him or her. You know, we're looking at people from the past like, damn, I took hella L's. I took more L's than in hella. Hella has only 2 L's. I took 12. You know, it's like you wouldn't choose these people, but and I had to sneeze, y'all, so I had to pause on that. But in taking those L's, like, you know, we realize, like, whoa, we have narrowly escaped some situations, and it's because of what's on the inside of us. Like I said, we don't mean to attract these type of people, so we have to be able to do the work to make sure that we don't end up on, you know, a news segment because when we finally woke up or said, hey, I got to pull away from this situation, we weren't able to escape. And sometimes you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. And sometimes you do. The question is, what makes someone not want to let go? And it goes back to what I was saying before. There are some people who only want a crazy type of love. If it ain't dangerous, they don't want it. If it doesn't smell like felonies and arrests and bookings and cavity searches, they don't want it. If it doesn't look like suspended licenses, if it doesn't look like stolen credit cards, if it doesn't look like pounds and pounds and pounds of dope in the car, they don't want it. If this man is not a thug, if this man is not a certified, bona fide gangster, they don't want him. If he doesn't have at least 40 bodies, she doesn't want him. There is something off about wanting the worst in a person and being okay with it. And the moment that you try to change, they don't want to have anything to do with you. Who are you to want to vibrate higher? But there is a level of attraction, and there's a root to that attraction. It has to do with the toxins on the inside. And as I mentioned before, the toxins on the inside are related to the environment and what you have seen, what you have heard, what you ingest, what you even eat, what you listen to, what you watch, who your friends are, what's in your bloodline. Factors. Young high schoolers are not ready for relationships. They're ready, of course, friendships and things like that. And even in friendships, there are lessons, because you can have obviously toxic friendships, but we're focusing on the relationships. They're not equipped to handle all of that, especially if they're having sex. They're not ready. And the lack of sex education, that is available outside of what's in this world is horrible. We have dropped the ball when it comes to sex education. You know why? Because the parents need to be in the class too. The parents need to be taught too. When it comes to a deadly relationship, when it comes to meeting somebody and thinking that he or she is the one, only to find out that this person is batshit crazy, you then have to say to yourself, how do I get out? When I leave, is this going to be a smooth transition, or is this going to be chaotic? Is this going to be turbulent? Is this going to have to require the police coming? Am I going to have to move, change my number, block? Am I going to have to go no contact? What am I going to have to do just to get out of this, because I realize that I'm in sewage? How do I walk away from this? And what inside of me keeps choosing these type of men, these type of women? I've got to get a hold on this hex, this curse, this thing, because my life is in danger. I can't even move ahead. I can't get ahead because I keep going around in circles with the same old soot, with the same old sewage, with the same old toxins. He looks good. The dick may be just out of the world, but I am outside of that. What am I being fulfilled with? And even that, oh girl, he got good dick. It's just like, when you say that, I think of good dick, like, does his dick know how to sit when you tell it to sit? Does it know how to roll over when you tell it to roll over? Does it know how to, if the only thing on him that's good is his dick, there's an imbalance. We need the rest of his members to catch up with his member. Because at the beginning of the day, all of that sex and everything like that it's nothing but a cesspool of those energies to keep mixing to cause calamity, to cause a deadly relationship. We've got to move past like I said before, it's the crazy girls that got the good pussy. This is what y'all niggas be saying. My question is, why do y'all keep fucking crazy women? And if you know she's crazy, what in you is so attracted to a crazy woman? So you're allergic to peace? You're allergic to mental stability? You're allergic to conflict resolution? I'm just asking because, once again, as I will always say, we do too much fucking. Too much. And the problem is, once you intermix, though, once you come into that union, you're creating, it's like a stronghold, and you're giving a portal, if you will. You're creating a portal for that toxic behavior to magnify. Because now the arguments are not only about just the other bullshit, but then it's about the sex, and you better not be him, and you better not be her, and this, that, and the third, and you better, it's just all of this shit, and trying to hurry up and get pregnant, and nobody wants to use a condom. Everybody walking around burning, and it's just like, what the f is going on? And it's that toxic behavior. Something isn't right. Moving forward, I also highlighted in the clips, when boyfriend and girlfriends get together and forsake their children, or when a mother gets with some nigga up off the streets and forsakes her children because the nigga is like, it's either them or me, and the mother chooses the nigga over her kids. You got two 16-year-olds running out of the house handcuffed. What the fuck? Like, what the, the House of Horrors. There are so many House of Horrors in this world, y'all. So many House of Horrors full of toxic, bullshit-ass behaviors, where people are just out of control in their own home. Dictators, just horrible, horrible examples in the home. Doing whatever the fuck they want to do in their home. Acting any old kind of way, treating their children any old kind of way, because nobody can tell them what the fuck to do. I hate them type of niggas. I hate those type of bitches, because they are the ones who are fucking up this entire village. You create these children, and then you have the audacity to fuck their lives up with your fucked up behavior, with your fucked up house, with your roaches, with your, I'm going into it, because this toxic behavior and these toxic environments have bugs. Trash, shit stains, urine smells, molded food, just deplorable conditions. And it all creates a fucked up attitude. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That clutter is conducive to chaos, and it spews out into the streets. And we have to encounter that bullshit and some people have to teach that, and have to work with that, go to school with that, live with that, ride the bus with that, be in the mall with that, at a club with that, whatever. That shit is loose in the environment as we speak. And when you get together and this nigga gives you an ultimatum, it's either you or your children. But you know what? Before that nigga even got there, you had already said, fuck the kids. You don't give a fuck. You on your 15th Newport, and your baby is 3 months old. You don't give a fuck. You just smoking that Newport right in front of that baby's face. That baby is inhaling 4,000 chemicals per cigarette because of your ass. And some of these children are loose in the streets, and they're going to get into a relationship, and it's going to be toxic because of you. You don't give a fuck though. And that's a problem. We know people like that. We see people like that. We've heard of people like that. And for any nigga to say it's either me or your kids, and you have to be like, look, nigga, I'm riding with you. Nah, you knew your kids before you knew this nigga. Where's your loyalty? And I'm not saying, you shouldn't have somebody, but I'm saying you shouldn't have nobody. And this nigga's a nobody. And a lot of y'all, some of these women choose nobodies over their children. And don't do shit with their children. And their children are not made or reared or trained or raised up in order to go out, and they are no good for any relationship. These kids are running out the house, handcuffed. You got 5 other children with you. Y'all on the run. There's an Amber Alert, and it's because you and your nigga. Where did you find him at? And what's going on with your other children's fathers? It's just like hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit. And some of you niggas be having sex with these women, with these toxic women, and you want to talk shit about them, but what does that make you? And some of you women talk shit about these niggas and how toxic they are, but you have sex with them. What does that say about you? Now her house is dirty. Now she has roaches. Nigga, them roaches was in the bed with you when you was flipping, smacking it up, flipping it, and rubbing it down, nigga. You gave a roach a high five with your nasty ass. Oh, she wasn't she wasn't a nasty bitch when you was doing what you was doing with her. Oh, now she has plaque on her teeth. But you let her perform fellatio all up on you, but now her breath stank. You see what I'm saying? You niggas is hypocrites. You talk shit, but you have hit in some of the most toxic places. And oh man, her shit stank. And it's like, hey, both y'all in the room though? Toxic behaviors. And I'm not making any light of what happened with those children. I don't find that shit to be funny at all. I don't think the abandonment is cool. I don't think the neglect is cool. I don't think the bullshit is cool. I don't think no nigga or no female should ever be able to come in in the form of a demon and be abusive. Bring the spirit of abuse into the home or magnify it. How far are you willing to go when it comes to your man or your woman? Are you willing to lose control? Are you willing to become unrecognizable? Are you willing to just switch up and become something that you never even thought you would become because you are digmatized by this toxic man? This toxic, well, you can't be stigmatized by a toxic woman, but you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, what's going on? So, when you listen to these clips and you hear how it ends in murder, how it ends in jail time, how it ends in death, how you hear the pain of the family, how you hear the outcome of having to get that phone call because you knew something wasn't right. The whole family knew something was right. They thought that things were going to get better, but there were too many incidences, too many events, occurrences that said no, negative. It's not going to get better. He's not going to change. She's not going to change. This situation is volatile and it's going to end in tragedy. I think about the young woman pushing the stroller, what the fuck is a stroller? Stroller, and her child's father shot her while she was pushing the stroller. We're talking about not being right in the mind, possessed by and plagued by toxic entities. Because obviously in your right mind, you would not do that. And they were allegedly talking about getting back together. Supposedly they were working it out. One of the worst things that you can do is try to work it out because of the kids. That you use them in staying, or why you are going to try to stay, because you never had your daddy, you never had your mama, you never saw your parents in the home together, so you're trying to give them what you never had. But is that the only thing that you never had? Because it seems to me that not only did you never have that, but you never had wisdom, guidance, rearing. You never had the fear of the Lord put in you. You never had exposure to what you needed to where you could be successful in your decision making. And when you opt to stay in danger because you want your children to be able to see both the parents in the home, or, that's their dad, and I don't, even though I know, he threw me out the window and I landed on a pack of raccoons that were rabid, and I know I caught rabies. I know that just because, it's this bullshit ass anthem where but you don't show what you know. Just for the sake of you didn't have your daddy around. That's not an excuse. Just because you didn't. No. We have to stop living through the children, and we also have to stop trying to make what we did not have be so now. It is dangerous to you and to anybody in your environment when you are trying to give your children the wrong thing. Although you may think it's the right thing. But you keep him in the home, you keep her in the home, and y'all niggas is fighting like cats and dogs, cussing and fussing and fighting, just doing whatever the fuck you want to do. You tell me, where's the benefit for the children? And nobody can tell you what to do with your children, but somebody the fuck needs to. Toxic environment. And any man that can come into, or any woman that can come into, in the shape of a demon, into your environment and make you say, I choose toxic behavior. I choose being selfish. I choose my generational curses and hexes over my children, over myself. And I think about the grace that we have experienced in being able to get out of the relationships that we had no business being in. And a lot of the times, especially in this day and age, a lot of people don't want to get involved. They see the bullshit, but they just don't want to have anything to do with it because that's their business. I ain't trying to get involved in that shit. Nah, that's their business. They gonna work it out. That's what they been doing. That's on them. I know he love her, she love him, and they gonna work that. Oh, Lord. that is not the panacea that the village needs. And there's a lot of seeing, but not enough saying. You know? And there's some things that you just don't know because people keep it hidden. You know, a whole new world that you are unaware of when it comes to people's lives where they, keep things hidden because for whatever reason. And when you know something isn't right, you got to pray for a way to be able to expose it, to prevent a deadly relationship, a deadly outcome. You see the abuse, you see the bruises, you see the scars, you see the signs that something is off, but are you willing to say something? And a lot of people, with good reason, they do think twice about getting involved because the outcome can end up in them losing their life by just trying to be a hero to prevent tragedy from happening. It's the devil's pressure is real, and those strongholds are real. And when you are, on the battlefield and you're going into these environments where toxic behavior is running the show, you have to be strategic, and you can't save everybody. Only thing you do is pray for them. You can't save everybody. But my question is, how do we start to move away from being attracted to the crazy love? If it ain't spicy, I don't want it. I don't want to eat my noodles if my noodles don't have lava on it. It has to be all of that. There's nothing wrong with waiting. There's nothing wrong with deciding to take several steps back and say, I need to put the pause on this. Because you can feel it, you can sense it, that something ain't right with him, something ain't right with her. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to gamble yourself just to say that you got somebody? You can listen to any news clips you want to, and you can see where tragedy is happening in relationships. Some of you have witnessed in your own home your parents fighting, bickering. You may have seen your mom or your dad in the dating world, and seen some things. You may have heard some things, been taught some things, and they have led you into, relationship environments that were not good for you. Some of you have some stories that you can tell about, barely making it home after being out with your nigga, your female, being out. The environments you've been in, the trap houses you've been in, how many times, the police encounters, him asking you to do this and do that, or her asking you to do this and do that, and you doing shit that you know that you ain't got no business doing that could get you some time, but you're afraid to say no. You don't want to not be in this person's presence because you've gotten used to their energy and you don't want to go back to what you were doing before you met this person, or you're afraid of the consequences. And you should never be in a relationship with somebody where you're afraid of the consequences of saying no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You know, you don't want to have to be in a relationship where you're on eggshells because you know at any given time this nigga may slap the shit out of you, or she may rise off and pop you in the mouth, but you were raised not to hit women, so now she's taking off on you any time of the day you say something wrong because she knows that you ain't finna hit her. That's toxic. But she got some good P though. She got some good H though. You have to really consider, like, why do I still keep allowing myself to do these things, these toxic things for this toxic person in this relationship? And is this really a relationship? Is this the highest that I can go when it comes to achieving a relationship? What does achieving a relationship look like? Is this right for me? Well, this is all I've ever known. That's not a reason. That doesn't work. You know how to switch stuff up. So what is it that makes anybody say, I am afraid to walk away? I'm afraid to let go. Because what? You're not going to get those text messages anymore, those phone calls anymore. The nigga took you to Denny's and now you sprung. Girl, he took me to Denny's. Okay. Yeah, girl. It was just me and him in there. 2 a.m, I bet. How'd you know? Well, you know. The creeps come out at night. You know, it's just like, how many times are you going to have to deal with the phone and deal with the females or the males or the baby daddy situation, the baby mama situation? How many more times are you going to have to deal with, you know, the ratchetness of the situation, and why are you in it? There's nothing wrong with having a relationship where shit is going good. Nah. What? Shit is going good. Nah, I don't want that in my relationship. I need my shit to be fucked up. I'm looking for something to go wrong any minute now. If something don't go wrong, I can't be in it. You know, like the devil's hooks and the devil's lies and the way the devil tries to tell you how to be through all of these influences is going to have you fucked up. It ain't cool to be in no crazy type of love. This ain't no ride or die type of situation. You ain't Bonnie and you ain't fucking Clyde. Okay? Our people need to stop idolizing the nations and what the nations do, the nation's thoughts, the nation's ideologies, the nation's principles, the nation's everything that they do. That is not for us. And you're getting yourself caught up in ways, cultures, and customs that don't belong to you, thought processes that don't belong to you, and stop and subscribing to the master that dictates all of this demonic activity. The devil is never going to want you to be in a healthy relationship. Okay? He does not want you to be anything that's good for you. He does not like you. He never has. He never will. He is fucked up. Or it is fucked up. And when the devil does what the devil does, zero fucks given about who it affects as long as you are doing something destructive. And you don't have the time to be wondering who the fuck that is that just texted him or her, where they was, when they was. You don't have time for that, to be checking and having to go all out of character behind him or her. That's toxic. The pop-ups, like I said, all of that ghetto, ignorant shit, nah. Something isn't right. And boyfriend and girlfriends murdering each other, something is not right. Our people taking each other out in relationships, y'all. We can't get it right. You know why? Because many of us are not qualified to be in a relationship. We put ourselves in positions that we have no resume for, no skill set, no experience, but we feel like we're qualified for the job of being a girlfriend or a boyfriend, a husband or a wife, when we are not there at all or yet. And want to know why we're so disappointed in each other and be quick to say, I ain't dealing with no more niggas. I ain't dealing with no more females. I'm cool. I'm done with love. I ain't never loving again. Don't hug me. Don't kiss me. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. I don't want to hear it. I ain't trying to get to know nobody new. They all the same. That whole shit. All of that. And the devil's like, good. Then I can destroy what the Most High God wants for your life, which is for you to have a man, which is for you to have a woman, a husband, a wife, which is for you to never have an ally, somebody who you can stand back to back with against the wiles of the enemy, who you can have somebody to lay with, speak to, love on, who you can fully become activated in who you were called to be, if he can just destroy what God has put together. It's deep. That's why I said you need scuba gear. There's no need for us to be taking each other out with our toxic behaviors. We're not qualified to be in relationships. We're not. We're not qualified to be fornicating, none of that type of stuff. We're not. We are unhealed, damaged, broken people coming together with unhealed, damaged, broken people talking about we in love. That's my man. That's my woman. And you both are there to take each other out and cancel each other out, because there's nothing that is conducive to peace, to harmony, to respect. No respect. One of the most common plagues amongst the brothers and the sisters is no respect. And disrespect is glorified. Disrespect your man. Disrespect your woman. Talk shit to your man. Talk shit to your woman. Talk about them behind their back. Act like you can't stand them. Shame them in front of your girlfriends and in front of your homeboys. Ooh, look at this. Watch this. How I disrespect them. Look at how I show you that I'm so ungrateful that I got somebody that's in my life. Watch me be a real reality woman in this relationship. Let me show you how I learned from TV how to disrespect my man. Let me talk shit and pretend like let me even up it a notch and say I don't even really need no man. Toxic. Not qualified. Most of you men ain't qualified to be in relationships because you ain't cried since you came out your mama's womb. You cried in the living room, ain't cried since. That's why you ain't ready for no relationship. Unhealed, a landfill full of trauma inside of you. You ain't cried in over 30 years. You've got too much shit that you've held in. You are a walking, ticking time bomb, not ready for a relationship. That's why you keep popping off in the relationships. You've got a lot of shit in you. You are constipated spiritually, and you need a spiritual X-Lax so you can get all that shit out. And you don't need to be getting it out on her, the kids, or anybody else. You need to get that shit out. Fuck what the devil told you. Fuck what the rap lyrics told you. Fuck what your niggas told you. Fuck the lies that you saw from the enemy in your home. You need to heal. You need to cry. You need to get it out. You need to purge. You do need to bow down to the Most High God. You do need help. You do need to be a man of understanding. You do. You do need to be healed from sexual trauma. You do need sex education. There is a way to be a man, but there are laws that show you how to be that. There is a way to be that. And you are not qualified to be taking your penis out and penetrating no female. Put that back up. Stop it. Stop pulling your pants down and penetrating women with your toxic energy. Knowing you ain't finna be faithful, knowing that you telling lies, knowing that you did all that bullshit just to have sex with her, knowing that you ain't half of what you said, not even a third of what you said. You don't plan on doing none of that shit. You knew when you met her that you were going to disappear. But on your way out, let me take some of your energy, lie to you, betray you, fuck you up, and leave you sliding down the wall. And by the way, I'm finna give you a little chlamydia and a little bit of some gonorrhea, and it might have a little crab or two with me that I'm going to give you. And you know what? On top of that, and I'm going to give you a baby that I ain't finna take care of, ain't finna pay you child support, ain't finna disappear on you and this kid's life because I am damaged and I'm full of toxins. The lengths that you go to and through just to be full of shit. And you can't hide the fact that you're full of shit, which is toxic, because it's going to come out. I don't know a person on this earth that when they smell shit don't know that it ain't shit. Everybody knows shit when they smell it. They're like, God damn, you smell that shit? Shit. That smells like shit. Shit, it does. Everybody knows what shit smells like. And nobody likes to smell shit at all. Shit is powerful. And it makes you be like, you know? So the full of shit is going to come out. So the question that some of the brothers need to be asking, like, why am I full of shit? And why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep damaging women? Why am I so fucking toxic? Why do I get a kick out of this shit? I climax off of being toxic. I love to destroy women. That's just what the fuck I do. You need to ask yourself, why is that? Your spirit, your countenance, your position, and why have you allowed that to be your portion? Because that makes you a child. And you're supposed to put away childish things. That makes you a boy, not a man, not a king, not a leader, none of that. That just makes you a fucking mannequin. You go out every day with your toxic self and you hollering at women all day. Hey, say baby. Hey. Just no. You know what I mean? Like always gazing, looking at women, knowing you ain't shit. And some of you sisters who believe that you are A shelter for the ain't shit men. There you go. You looking for some chicken and some cornbread. You hungry? I see you outside in the cold. I got a 2-bedroom. It's me and my 4 kids. But you can come on over. I'll take good care of you. You ain't got to work. Just come on over. You know. Nigga ain't got no resume, but he got the job. That ain't favor. That's fucked up. And it is the system of what is cycling through my mind that's making me do this shit. Making me be who I'm not. Knowing it's only a matter of time. My track record is I fuck shit up. I fuck up people's lives. I fuck up people's minds, their hearts. I play with people. It's just like at some point you need to ask yourself, why are you twerking on the devil? What do you mean, Sister Speak? Why are you so enamored and in love with the devil's way of doing things? There comes a point in time where you have to say to yourself, am I going to take my own self out? And until you get to a point where you can spend some time with yourself, away from everybody, and you can pull away from everything that you've got going on and unplug to get to the root of why you might take yourself out by going into your next relationship or by being in the relationship that you're in, or your sister or your brother, your mother, your father. There is no age group that is exempt from being in the something isn't right category. Don't take yourself out with your own toxic tolerance. Just because it was what you saw, that does not mean that is what you have to repeat. We'll be right back after this commercial break. You are listening to the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show. On the Vent Session, you have to get it out because it should not stay in. We're going to equip you with strategies to combat the wiles of the devil. This is spiritual warfare that you are encountering, and no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. You shouldn't walk around here feeling defeated because you are victorious. You're more than a conqueror. And we're going to encourage you on the Vent Session, and we are going to provide a safe space for you to get it out. Because why? It should never stay in. Thank you for adding us to your podcast shuffle, and thank you for letting us be the flavor in your ear on the Sister Speak Show. You are currently listening to Something Isn't Right, the boyfriend and girlfriend murders, when toxic relationships turn deadly, on the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. I think about, well, welcome back. You're listening to the Vent Session on the Sister Speak show. I think about really, and we're going to close out. I just want to say, I think about what made me choose to do and tolerate and participate in the relationship environments that I chose to participate in. And it all has to go back to having no wisdom, bumping my head, watching, being in an environment where things were tolerated, where I had no clue about any of the things that I was getting myself into for the most part. And had no, like I said, had no wisdom and didn't have enough fear in outcomes that were to come. And I have learned lessons, and I needed to learn those lessons. And it drained my energy because, as I mentioned before, you can become unrecognizable when you lose yourself. The things that I tolerated then, I would not tolerate now. What made me tolerate them then? Okay? The men, the males that I dealt with, I was attracted to, had a crush on, or anything of that nature. It's just like I would never be attracted to them now. I wouldn't have anything to do with them now. So what was wrong with me then that I was so close to danger? And the spiritual hits that I took as a result of my tolerance for toxic behavior. And we're talking about in a time frame where the exposure on the word toxicity and toxic behavior and toxic relationships, it was not there. It was just called domestic violence. I don't want anything that I'm not supposed to have. And I want to make good decisions in whatever I'm having to decide on. And when I decided to pull myself back from myself, I began to heal. And one of the things that helped me heal was my repenting, my recognizing my lefts instead of my and where I should have gone right. It was just really asking for a change and knowing I needed a change because I wasn't getting the outcome that I was desiring. I was getting closer and closer to death, spiritual death, physical death. Because when you choose people who are not good for you, you end up in environments and situations that are bad. And the older you get, you shouldn't even be wanting to be in any situation where you're tolerating the toxins. I don't care how fine, thick, how much money, status, none of that shit matters. Now, I understand looks are, you don't want no booger wolf, I get it. But you don't want no booger wolf on the inside either. And that's what it's about. I'm grateful that I know better now, that I'm wiser now, that there are just certain things I don't have to do that I used to do. And as a result of that, I'm able to attract a better environment no matter where I go. and better people no matter where I go, because I'm not full of that bullshit. I thank you all for being a wonderful listening audience. I thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that you are encouraged in your journey to waiting for, love and for the one who you're supposed to be with. There's nothing wrong with waiting and preparing while you wait. There's nothing wrong with being celibate, abstaining. There's nothing wrong with, in the meanwhile, while waiting for a healthy relationship, for you to purge, for you to annihilate the generational curses, for you to study to show yourself approved, for you to really enhance your walk with the Most High God, for you to really become prepared and qualified for a relationship. The Most High God did not give males and females to each other for us to take each other out. That was not his design. That's not his design. There is a requirement and a prerequisites. There are requirements and prerequisites that he has set forth for us that will safely navigate us to a harmonious, peaceful, stable relationship. Excuse me. And it is up to us to decide, am I willing to wait, or am I willing to flirt with my fate? Because waiting is safe. When you wait and when you say, hey, I'm not out of the game, but I'm on injured reserve right now. I got to get my shit together. I can't play if I'm injured. And I need my time. So, you just have to be willing to wait. Wait, brothers and sisters. Real shit. Anyway, brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. The time is well spent. It's 12:48 a.m. and I am closing down on my energy. I got to get some rest. But I do thank you, brothers and sisters, once again for being a wonderful listening audience. Please be careful. Please wait. Please be celibate. Please continue to be a warrior. Please continue to vibrate high. I thank you so much. I thank you so much for taking the time out to even discover This Is the Speak Show podcast. It really means a lot to me that you all are still hanging in there with me and listening to my episodes and, extracting whatever you are able to extract on your journey. I do pray that you continue to be steadfast, unmovable. I do pray that you continue to expand in your wisdom. I pray that you continue to really move away from the things that don't serve you, that hinder you from growing, that you are empowered to establish boundaries, that you don't hold anything in, that you get it out, that you do not let it fester, that you do not let it cancer, that you do not let it ultimately take you out because you have not healed. Okay, that's what this vent session is about. It's about talking about it. It's about getting it out. It's about really just putting yourself in a position to where you can clear the environment so the Most High God can put his Holy Spirit in you, regenerate you, so you can be restored, redeemed, renewed, resuscitated, rejuvenated, so you can be able to reclaim, okay, that redemption, so you can be able to really stand tall, stand bold, stand proud in the fact that you did the work, that you were able to drop down on your knees, bow down, recognize that your help comes from the Most High, and that you were able to surrender. Okay? There is a way, and there's only one way. It's only one way. And no man coming to the Father but by the Son. And the Most High God sent his Son, Yahushua, for us. And he sits on the right-hand side of the Most High God, interceding on our behalf. But if you don't believe then you're going to always be deceived. You're going to always have fucked up things going on. Yes, we as believers, as chosen ones, we have trials, tribulations. We're supposed to. But it's a different feeling when it's in the will of the Most High God. I can't make you be saved. I can't make you choose. I can't make you confess that He is Lord. I can't make you bow down. I can't make you do any of those things. I can just strongly encourage you to really strongly consider doing it. It'll save your life. It'll protect you. It'll give you the ability to discern when someone toxic is trying to come and infiltrate your life. You'll be able to recognize a snake. You'll be able to recognize a bear, a lion, a Goliath, a Delilah. You'll be able to recognize a Jezebel. You'll be able to call out incubus, succubus. You'll be able to say, no, this is a demon. You'll be able to rebuke. You'll be able to stand firm. You'll recognize that the devil is after you. You'll be able to tell him to get thee behind me. You'll be able to remember scriptures. You'll be able to have faith because you are chosen, because you chose to believe. There is a divine protection that comes with that. You were not designed to only have one choice. So you have to choose wisely who you're going to serve. Because I'm telling you, what the devil serves versus what the Most High God serves, my gosh. The devil don't give a fuck about you from the beginning to the middle to the end. And he's ruthless in his tactics. A snake. Deceptive. Cunning, luring, attractive. Thick. Nice smile. Money. Cars. Access. VIP. The who's who. Or on your regular routine. It could be anybody. You have to be careful. Any spirit that says they are going about to and fro seeking whom they may devour ain't no joke. Are you tired of being devoured? Are you tired of the destruction? Are you tired of the pain? Are you tired of crying? Are you tired of being lied to? Are you tired of catching him or her being unfaithful? Are you tired? That's because toxins drain you. And if the enemy can take you all the way out, he will. Learn from the lessons that we heard on tonight's episode of Event Session. My condolences to the families, but also to the families. Heal and get rid of the generational curses so this doesn't have to happen again in your family or within the community. We owe it to each other to actually do right by each other. Who are the people in your neighborhood? Thank you for listening. I return to center all spell work, voodoo, and black magic. It has an adverse effect immediately in the bosom of the practitioner and the sender. No weapon formed against me or my listening audience shall prosper. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God and my rock in whom I take refuge, my stronghold and the horn of my salvation. I'm grateful to be alive. I have made some decisions that could have taken me out, but for the grace and mercy of God, I'm still here. I don't take that lightly, and you should not take that lightly either. The devil is already defeated.